on, so I'll be doing some of that, but I'm gonna get through this. Cool. Yeah. So, like Jesse said, I'm with the Progressive Veterans here in Colorado Springs. I was in the Army. I was an EOD tech, deployed to Afghanistan in 2019. So I've got some shit to talk about this fucking war we're doing. In 2018, Donald Trump tore up the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also known as the Iran nuclear deal. Iran, in this agreement, agreed to restrict their nuclear program, the number of centrifuges, the level of enrichment they would achieve, and the size of their nuclear stockpile, all while being monitored by the International Atomic Energy Agency. While Iran received some sanctions relief in relation to its nuclear program, many sanctions were still in place under Obama's deal. After launching a surprise attack mid-negotiations, kind of like the Japanese did to us at Pearl Harbor, Trump now is being offered that he is going to lift all sanctions, including the ones that were still in place under Obama's deal. That's what the Iranians are now demanding. We will not monitor their nuclear program more closely than from outer space, nor will we restrict anything about their nuclear program. We paid a heavy price for this war. I want to look at the cost of what it cost us, what it achieved, and how we can prevent doing this in the future. What did it cost? It cost 13 U.S. service members their lives. It cost around 300 U.S. service members wounded. Roughly 1,500 civilian casualties, including hundreds of Iranian children killed. 46 aircraft and drones destroyed and damaged, including 2 of our 16 AWACS aircraft. Thousands of missiles and bombs that could otherwise be used to defend Ukraine or Taiwan. And around $45 billion in other weapons and supplies. Imagine what you could do with $45 billion right here in the United States.
Yep.
Healthcare, education, debt relief. Nah, we got more important stuff to do. We got people to bomb. So what did we get for all of this? For all this loss, death, destruction, weakening our strategic position on the global stage? We achieved regime change, according to the administration. Apparently the first time in the history of the world that an 80-year-old man was succeeded by his eldest son. Who could have seen that coming? We cut the head off the snake. Now, I deployed to Afghanistan in 2019. So we killed Osama bin Laden in 2011. If cutting the head off the snake was at all an effective strategy, why in the hell did I get sent to Afghanistan 8 years after we cut the head off the snake? That doesn't make any sense. The fact is that this cutting the head off the snake strategy never works. It didn't work in Vietnam, it didn't work in Iraq, it didn't work in Afghanistan, and it has failed us once again in Iran. The next time the government holds up the severed head of one of its enemies and tells you that this is going to make any difference at all in the world, you will know that they are lying to you once again. We prevented Iran from getting nukes, so says the administration. Now, some of you might remember that the Iran's nuclear program was, quote, obliterated less than a year ago by this administration. But that wasn't good enough. We wanted more. So after this current victory, I am questioning whether Iran will pursue nuclear weapons at all. They can defeat two nuclear-armed countries that want to, quote, end a civilization without nuclear weapons. They managed to beat off two nuclear powers without nukes. Why the hell do they need nukes anyways? They can clearly whoop us without them. The next claim we have is that we destroyed their Air Force and Navy. Who cares how damaged their Air Force and Navy are if we can't even open the strait? Either this goal is irrelevant to the strategic situation, or they're lying that they accomplished it. Iran now wants to impose a Trump toll of $2 million on any ship transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The entire globe will see increased oil prices because of the reduced profitability of Gulf oil. Reduced Gulf oil production will mean higher prices at the pump for everyday Americans. Every time we go to the gas pump, from this day on, your money will be going indirectly to fund the Trump toll. Buy electric already, folks. The fact is that we failed to achieve any of the administration's objectives. This should have been the obvious result from the start. Less than a year ago, Trump ceased hostilities with the Houthis. They, with the support of Iran, shut down the Bab el-Mandeb Strait in response to Iran's genocide in Gaza. Trump's efforts to reopen the strait failed, and shipping did not return to normal before we left. 1 month ago, Trump launched a special military operation with the assumption that the patron of this group that had just shut down a major shipping lane would not shut down a major shipping lane. They thought that despite being incapable of clearing a shipping lane from the attacks of a rebel group less than a year ago, in the event that Iran did shut down this major shipping lane, we would be capable of opening it back up just off of Iran's coast. Trump's plan to instigate this war of choice was a terrible decision from day one. This was just a bad idea. Some will say, that's what happens in war. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Civilians die, and that can't be avoided. But it can be avoided. This is what we've all known from the start. The reason we oppose war from day one is because these are the predictable consequences of all wars. And so the only way to avoid it is to stay out of wars as much as possible.
Yes.
Congress has never succeeded in defending the people of the United States from war. In our 250-year history, we have been at war for 230 years.
Wow.
The checks that the framers of the Constitution intend to stop this from happening have failed. They did not sufficiently build the Constitution in a way to stop us from constant war. We need a constitutional amendment to ban U.S. troops and aircraft from leaving Allied territory without prior monthly approval from Congress and a formal declaration of war against a sovereign state. Without that, we will be back at war again and again and again and again for the next 250 years. If and when that happens, I hope to see each and every one of you protesting against that shit beside me.
Yes.
Thank you.